Good morning. This is the 24th of April. I want to thank every panelist who gave their time and input over the programs that will follow. I want to thank everybody that joined in, who will listen to these sessions. I hope that this will bring specific value to you on your businesses. As I listened to the panelists, I realized that the aim of this, namely to drive through the purpose of each member of the value chain, is to realize and understand how value chains work. And that is the food and the fibre value chains in South Africa. We roughly have about 38 value chains, of which you must remember that 24 of them are net exporters, 8 out of every 10 years. So other than just providing food for South Africans, the 60 million South Africans, we also provide about 65% of the food that is needed in the SADC region, roughly 250 million inhabitants of the region, and then also, of course, deep water exports. We also realize through this session, hopefully, how much we need each other and what the potential is of localized production instead of importing. I think especially in this time of this pandemic, this COVID pandemic, you realize that the whole globalization trend maybe is going to be offset by another wave of localization. How much we can produce ourselves and be self-sufficient. I have no doubt that the major consolidation that will take place in each of the sectors, and especially in the agri value chains, will be brought about by the lack of liquidity. That maybe is our major and biggest concern, is that lack of liquidity is going to force a new normal in businesses. Indeed, the reset button was pressed. I think while the purpose of your business from a strategic point of view is very important, I think those businesses with a very well-defined strategy will maybe get through this much easier and will emerge as the winners. Liquidity, as you have seen in countries like the East Bloc countries, has really impeded, or the lack of liquidity has impeded growth and development. As in other regions where liquidity wasn't a problem, financial liquidity wasn't a problem, growth and development could happen. I think other risks, like the sort of labor risks that will emerge, supply chain risks, then demand that will diminish, which again will offset in price, and once soft commodity prices or commodity prices in general go down, that will again reflect on price, and once price is reflected, it goes through to production, and then that whole vicious circle starts again. Maybe one of the first commodities that you would have seen being impacted was oil. It was a demand shock, then price went down, then production was influenced, and then it spilled over into labor and supply chain. And we will see this as the vulnerability of commodities within our sector is exposed. Now, the lockdown immediately forced commodities like wool and cotton, as from a non-essential point of view, to immediately shut down, and that, of course, impacted on price and the whole vicious circle. Contrary to that, grains, which was seen as a critical facility or commodity, that was stimulated again, and the prices were more or less upholded. You could see that international prices, as a consequence of the ethanol production, which were also brought down when oil prices were brought down, that had a consequence that it spilled over into also human consumption and drive those prices down as well. I hope that you find the information during these sessions valuable, and that you gain a knowledge of the significant role players within the different organizations, and that you find a better understanding of each other and a way to help each other develop that specific value chain. Lastly, I want to thank John, who facilitated, John from Agbiz, of course, the CEO of Agbiz, who facilitated all these sessions. You had to do a lot of preparation, and your valuable knowledge and understanding of the different value chains are invaluable. Of course, Agbiz, the role of Agbiz as an industry organization is research-based. It does not get involved with politics. The organization merely looks at evidence-based information, and through that helps its members. So enjoy the series. Please come back with questions. We will answer that in upcoming sessions. So to just give you an idea of how we're going to go about. So the program will be as follows. The first session after this opening session will be a broad overview by Dr. John Purchase, the CEO of Agbiz, and then the agricultural master plan by Professor Ferdi Meyer of BFAP. Then your second session will be, the anchor will again be John Purchase, then Martina Stander, the CEO of Country Bird Holdings, of course the poultry side, then Johan Kotze, CEO of South African Pork Producers Organization, then Dewald Olivier, the CEO of the South African Feedlot Association, and Dr. Dani Oudendal, the founder and director of Veterinarian Network. Then the next session, the third session, will be again, our anchor will be John Purchase, then David Boshoff, the Executive Director of AFMA, that's the feed manufacturers, then Boikanyu Mogatla, the Executive Director of the National Chamber of Milling, so that is human milling processes, and then Peter Lovelace, CEO of Sioko. Sioko, of course, a crusher in the oilseeds part of the value chain. So right after that, you will have roughly 4 to 5 days after listening to these sessions with your questions. You can submit these questions directly to Mariette Higu at mariette.higu@senwes.co.za, and then we'll come back with answers on those. So in our last session then, that will be the production side of it. Again, John Purchase being our anchor, and our panel members would be Dani Minnar, a farmer, and of course the chairperson of Senwes, Pierre Verkuil, also a farmer and the president of Agri SA, Lou van Reenen, he's the CEO of Beefmaster, Jannie de Villiers, the CEO of Grain SA, and Omri van Zyl, the CEO of Agri SA. And then separately we'll also speak to Rudy Dix. He's head of project management, and of course he sits in the president's office, and he'll give you a very, very high level view of the way that COVID-19 has developed and how government has reacted to that. So thank you. This is certainly going to be an interesting few sessions. Please submit your questions, and then we'll decide on the way forward from there, follow up sessions, maybe something like, what happens after COVID and the startup period, how the new world will look like, and how does your business fit into that new reality. Welcome and thank you very much.